Hey guys, this is week 18 of my series titled 52 Weeks of Reaper. Every week for 52 weeks, I'll be releasing a new video focusing on a key feature in Reaper. So let's jump right in. So for this week, we will be continuing with last week's topic, which was markers. But for this week, we're going to be focusing on markers with more advanced features and functionality. So last week we talked about basic markers. So we hit M to hit a marker at the playhead, and we can go ahead, double click on it, we can label it, we can set colors, all those functions we talked about last week. So for this week, we're going to start with talking about take markers. So with this track marker, if we move any one of these elements, the marker stays in that position. But what if we want the marker to move along with the take? And that's where you would add a take marker. So you can go to the take and put your playhead where you want it to be. Make sure that the take is highlighted. And there is a keyboard shortcut. But before we go to that, you can right click and then go to where it says take markers and then go add, edit, take marker at cursor, and you notice there is a keyboard shortcut here that says Alt-T. I think that is default. Don't quote me on that. It might have been mine. I think it might be the default, but because it's something that I use all the time, I'm gonna make sure that I remember whatever that keyboard shortcut is. So to create a take marker, we're gonna place the playhead where we want the marker to go. Make sure that the take that we want it to be on is highlighted, which is this top one right here that we're working with. This is the kick track, and we're gonna hit that keyboard shortcut of Alt-T. So we have this dialog popping up. We see the marker there. We're gonna give it a name, call it marker 1. And then I'm gonna change the color to give it a more contrasted color against that yellow. So once we do that, hit OK, we have marker 1. So you can easily edit this by just hovering over it. You'll notice your pointer will change. And once you see your pointer change to this pointer, you double click and you can edit what you have there. You should be able to grab it and just move it. It will snap to the grid based on your grid settings. If you have snap turned off, it'll just move smoothly to wherever you want to put it, and that's how you would manipulate and just basically edit a marker. So the beauty of having that there is if you're trying to mark something that's specific to that take or that item, because you can also add this to MIDI items, to label something or to mark a certain spot on the item, it will stay in that same time position relative to the item. So no matter where you move the item, if you duplicate the item, that marker will be there marking that specific spot. So this kind of ties back to the ranking system that I had discussed and showcased in week 8 of the series. Go back and watch that and you'll see when I was doing the tape markers. This is what that system is utilizing, and it's just utilizing it in a very clever way to allow you to rank your takes when I was doing the comping in that video. Like I said, go back to week 8 and watch that video when I started ranking takes. It's a very sleek system. Check it out. So next up, another marker that I want to discuss is a stretch marker. So let's listen to this 808 here. So somewhere along this 808, I'm gonna mess with the stretch marker. And you've seen this in other DAWs before. All right, so let's say I wanna play with the timing on this. And this is more of like an editing feature, some kind of like audio surgery. You can use it creatively, but you'll understand when you see the functionality. So you can right click on the item and go to Strectch Markers. And over here, you'll have the option that says add stretch markers. So you notice once again, we have a keyboard shortcut of Shift W. Once again, I am not sure if that is the default or if that's a keyboard shortcut that I set sometime in the past. So check that out for yourself. The keyboard shortcut might vary, or there might not be one on your system. I strongly think I did that. Maybe I didn't, but maybe I did. So we're gonna use that keyboard shortcut of Shift W, and it's gonna add a stretch marker. If you notice, the marker looks a little bit different, and at the bottom here it says 1x, which pretty much means nothing has been changed yet, because it's gonna be literally doing stretching or contracting of the audio, like time stretch, which is gonna change the pitch in a certain mode. But in this mode, it will not change the pitch of your audio. But that's what it's using, is using the stretch algorithm. So what you want to do in most cases, if we want to affect just this section right here, we're gonna put another marker right about here so that we don't affect anything before this part of the audio. So we're gonna Shift W there, and we're gonna put a playhead right about here and add another one so that we don't affect anything after this point. So we just want to affect this note right here. So I'm gonna grab, once you put your cursor right there over that marker, you'll see it change, and now you can move it, and you're actually now moving the audio. And if I didn't have these other points in place, it would be affecting the position of this part of the audio. But because I put those in place at the beginning and at the end, the only thing that changed was the position of this piece that I wanted to affect. And then that's gonna change up the timing. So that definitely changed the rhythm that was there. As opposed to go back. Once more, this is the original. And with the change. So that's Stretch Markers in Reaper, and in the weeks to come, I will show you how they have utilized this to actually use it to put another function into Reaper that is very popular with third-party software. It's a function that we use a lot of times in music production, and usually you have to use a third-party plugin to do it, but they utilized this system and was able to build a whole system around using this system to create that function. But we'll talk about that in the weeks to come. But that's the basic idea of stretch markers and what they can do. So last up, we're going to talk about smart markers, which is something that I just recently learned about, and I think it's pretty cool. So what a smart marker does is you can place a marker in a specific area, and the marker has to be a regular track marker. It cannot, as far as I know right now, I didn't figure out how to do it, but it cannot work as a take marker. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I just haven't found it yet. When I find it, I'll probably do a quick update like a YouTube short. But you can place a marker and then assign the marker a command, like one of the actions, and the action will execute once your playhead hits that marker. So once again, it has to be an overall track marker for the entire project, and I'll show you how to set that up right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it mute the kick at a certain spot. So I'm gonna put a marker, I think I'm gonna put it right here. Oh, right here. Right, so I'm gonna add a marker here, letter M. And what I have to do is I have to look up the action that I want to assign to that marker that I want to be executed. So I'm going to hit Shift and the question mark button. I'm going to type in item mute. And what I'm looking for, I'm going to use this one right here that says item properties, toggle mute. And over here, we have in this section that says command ID. We need to put that in a very specific way to the label of the marker. So you can right click on the action and go to copy selected action command ID. Once we do that, we're gonna go back to this marker, double click to edit it. And in the title, you're gonna first put an exclamation mark, and then you're gonna paste in that action command ID. Once you do that and you play your arrangement, any of the items in the arrangement will be affected by that action once the playhead hits that marker. Of course, depending on what the action is. So in this instance, it's supposed to mute. So let's highlight the kick, and then I'm gonna play it from this point. And by the time my playhead hits this marker, it should mute. So let's see if it works. Here we go. So it did work. Let's look at that again. So it should now unmute because it's muted and we used a toggle action. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, let's highlight these and then let's play. And these now should be muted once we get to that marker. And there you have it. Let's undo that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one. Let's double click on this. We're going to copy it. Then I'm going to create another marker here, right there. Hit M, double click, and I paste in the same thing up here. So it should toggle. So we're going to get toggle 1, which will mute what's highlighted, and then toggle 2, which will just unmute. So here we go. And it worked. So basically, I'm kind of using it to do automation. There's a lot more you can use it to do, but that's the basic idea and the basic concept. You can trigger actions with these markers, which is amazing. And I don't know if I've ever seen a DAW do that. So this, once again, is what makes Reaper so amazing. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. Advanced marker features in Reaper. Thanks for checking out the video. Next week, I might go into that system that I was talking about where they utilized the stretch markers. So stay tuned for that. Check back next week. Thanks for watching, and as always, you will see me in the next video.